Welcome, everyone, to Stepping Into Your Leadership. I'm your host, Christine Courtney. Our goal here is to give you some actionable takeaways that will help you lead your teams. Thanks for joining us on this leadership journey. Let's get started. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to a summertime version of Stepping Into Your Leadership. I am back with the wonderful, gorgeous, and summer-kissed Erika Petrelli and Thomas. I'm going to go with Thomas Armstrong.
That works. I've been going with Thomas lately, actually.
I'm going to give you guys one situation of a difficult situation that someone's having at work. You're going to help say how you would address it. And then we're going to go to a lightning round of as many leadership questions as we can get in 2 minutes. Are you ready, Tom? You're going to go first on this one, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll see what Erika thinks, and you guys at home can judge for yourselves. All right. So this time it's negotiating deadlines with upper management. What's happening? The deadline set by upper management for a major project is unrealistic given the current resources and constraints. How do you negotiate a more feasible timeline while maintaining the quality and scope of the project and avoiding burnout and ensuring success? Tom?
Cool. Yeah, this is a hard one.
I know.
Because it's like the managing up thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very real. So, okay, one thing about project management is very important to know and to get across. Your job as a project manager is to, deliver the project on time, at cost, at quality, all that stuff. And part of being effective at that is telling your client or telling your boss about deadlines or constraints that are unrealistic and unachievable. It's actually built into your job. What you can't do is at the end of the project go, I didn't hit my targets, but it's my boss's fault because they set unrealistic targets. You're the project manager. And it's literally your job to manage your boss's expectations about what's realistic, because they can't possibly, they might possibly be able to do it, but it's really like they're relying on you to do that, ideally. Now, it depends on your boss. Some bosses could be super, hard to talk to about this. And others might be really open to it because they understand that they should be able to receive some pushback from the team that's realistic. So to start that conversation, it's good just depending on your relationship. Hopefully you built strong, I don't know what the context here is. I'm just assuming that it's sort of a good relationship, not amazing, not terrible, right? So sort of average relationship with a boss, whatever that is. So I would go to my boss with clarity on, I'm trying not to use any jargon, by the way, for project management, just for the lay people. I'm not going to use any of the sort of jargony stuff.
For the lay people, he says.
So you
go. You and me, I guess.
For you lay people that wouldn't understand.
So you basically, you just got to go with your schedule, your plot. You've really thought this through in terms of your timeline. You've maximized all of the resources at the appropriate moment of launching at their portion of the project, whatever it is. You can really sit down and show that and demonstrate you've done your due diligence there and you have a strong plan. And then also the budget constraints and the quality, and just sit down with them and say, something has to change, because if it doesn't, we won't arrive on time. Like if the priority is to get this on that particular date, based on the resources that I have, sing it out. And you could, but going to them and being more gut oriented is probably not the best thing. It's really to have the data behind your argument. And then you can sit down with them and collaborate, ideally, on what can flex here. Is it possible to bring in more human resources? Is it possible to, maybe some of the requirements can change? What can be adapted here so that if the time has to be on that particular date. So that would be my start.
All right, Erika.
There's no better project manager than Tom. So the advice and the framework that he just gave is exactly spot on, right? So I would just add that as a project manager, obviously my job is to deliver the project, but my priority is taking care of my team. And so I'm looking at my team and saying, okay, we're being run ragged here. I'm going to upper management to say, and to Tom's point, it's not just, hey, this is too much, but I'm just saying that from a vague feeling place. This is too much and here's what's happening. This is how many hours my team is working. These are the aspects of the project that we have completed. And I'm still seeing that we are off target. At this pace, we are not going to hit the mark. And if I am clear going into that meeting that my priority is taking care of my team, then it's not my job to make sure the upper management is happy with me in that moment. It's my priority that my team is happy with me. And then I'm taking care of them. So Tom alluded to the fact that there's some deadlines that are immovable because maybe you're project managing an event that tickets have been sold for. So you can't change the deadline. because that's when the deadline is. People are going to be in the seats on that day. The thing has to occur. In that case, your ask is different. You go to upper management and say, I need more people, or my current people need more money. They need free food. They need to be taken. They need childcare because they're working extra hours. Like, then you expand the care that is given to the current team. Or if it's an arbitrary deadline, which I think a lot of times things are, you say to upper management, it was, maybe we thought, given what we knew at the time, that it was a right deadline, but given the evidence, given what we know now, that deadline was wrong, and we need to figure out what we're going to do. So that's what I would add.
Yeah. I think also going in and saying, like, this is going to be a tough, like, warning them, like, this is going to be a tough conversation, and I want to go through this with you.
Yeah.
And that this is what you've paid me to tell you about, and this is what I see as the
and like
problem.
Tom said, they'd rather hear that than to get to the day of the deadline and be like, oops, sorry, we didn't get there. You know,
also, I love the idea of options. I love when someone comes to me, and because I hate, when you're in the bot, you hate that you can't make the deadline, because immediately you think they just aren't working hard enough. They didn't work. If it was me, I would have been able to make this happen. You can't help it. That's what you go to. And so I think it's really good to add options. So here, look, we could do this. This would relay this much cost. We could move people, do this, move people over. We could also move this deadline, and this is what it would mean. Tatiana does that to me all the time. And she goes, I don't think it would be bad if we push this back 2 months. It actually might be better, Christine. Let me explain. And then she goes through that, and I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? And then if it is movable, like you said, Erika, it might not be. All right, let's go to a lightning round. Are you ready? All right, here you go. Here it is. Ready? 2 minutes on the clock. Erika, how do you balance work and personal life?
I think, I've said before that I'm not a fan at all of the phrase work-life balance, because I think that's an unrealistic separation of what is the truth of your life, which is your life and your work are commingled. So there's time for professional tasks and there's time for personal tasks. So the way I balance that is to begin with, to remember that it's all part of my day, that they're not separated, and that both are important to tend to. So what are the personal tasks that I need to tend to? What are the hours of my personal day? What are the personal tasks, professional? So that's it.
Okay. Tom, what about you?
Just one quick tactic. When I'm getting like texts or emails over the weekend, when I'm doing something that has nothing to do with work, I will reply saying, for my own mental health and my, I don't want to burn out. And if I'm replying to the text on the weekend, that could happen. So let's talk on Monday. And people are like, they respect that. Generally people are like, oh, I don't want to burn them out. This is time for rest.
What's a skill you believe every leader should work on, Tom?
Oh my God, delegating. It's a real hard one for folks, and it's something that you get better at by practice.
Erika,
listening, because none of us are as good at it as we think we are, right?
I love it. All right. Thank you, guys. That's all we have time for today. If you love this new format, listen, there's plenty other ones to listen to, and we'll be back next week with another short summertime version of Stepping Into Your Leadership. Thanks, Erika and Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I'd like to give a special shout out to our podcast producer, Richard Francisco. Check out our notes for any details. And if you get anything out of this, please follow us. And if you enjoy it, please take a moment to rate us or write a comment. It will mean the world to us. We'd love to hear from you. And if you just can't get enough, follow me on TikTok and check out tlpnyc.com/podcast for more information.